today's What Sold video, we're gonna be talking about 1 week's worth of sales, and I think that this is my best week of sales in the year 2024. I'm so excited and so happy. This video is probably gonna be a little bit longer because of all of the things that sold, so let's get into it. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I am a part-time reseller, which means in the times that I am not momming or being a teacher or just living life, I am trying to make as much money as I can reselling clothing online on reselling platforms like Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. And in this video, you're gonna see that I had a pretty successful week of doing just that. The week that we're gonna be talking about is November 25th through December 1st. This was a great week for a number of reasons. The main reason being that this was, I believe, Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and I was definitely dishing out the deals, but also because I think up until this point, I had been so consistent with my listing. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm filming on December 26th, and I have definitely fallen off with my listing consistency, mainly because I have family in town and we're doing all of the holiday things. By the way, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate, and I hope you have a wonderful end of the year and wonderful going into the next year. Yeah, I have really been enjoying just kind of like hanging out and not being as productive as maybe I should be, but I think it's also really healthy and important to step back and take a break at times. So we're gonna be talking about a really great week of sales. Some of these items may have sold for a little bit less than maybe what I would have liked, but it was all in the name of running pretty good and enticing sales for people so that I could move through as much inventory as possible. So we are gonna start by talking about November 25th, which was a Monday. And to be honest, this did not sell on this particular day. What I'm gonna talk about actually sold in October, but I never talked about it because I don't know, it just like didn't happen in my What Sold video then. So I'm including it now. So this one, I guess technically didn't happen during this particular week of sales, but it was such a crappy sale that you will not be like, oh my gosh, it's cheating. Like this barely amounted to anything. So on the 25th, which is a Monday, on Whatnot, but again, this happened in October, I sold this pair of Saucony Turquoise Triumph ISO2 sneakers. They were in a women's size 9.5. I got these at a Goodwill in the town that I live in. I got them on July 6th of 2022. So it's been a long time. They sold for $10 on Whatnot because over the summer when I was doing my big like 10 days on Whatnot spree, if you wanna kind of hear my recap of that, I will put that video right here. It was a good time. It was tiring, but it was a good time. I sent a bunch of listings from Poshmark over to Whatnot. And it used to be really easy to do that, even just in the summer, but I think they've taken that feature away, unfortunately. But I sent a bunch of my listings over to Whatnot and just listed them for stupid low. Mainly things that I had just had in my inventory for so long, like these shoes. So I listed these for $10 on Whatnot. Someone bought them because that's a screaming deal. I had $5.99 into them from that Goodwill. So my net profit was $2.34, which is McDonald's French fry money. And someone left a comment in one of my previous videos being like,
where in this economy can you get McDonald's French fries for a little more than $2?
You can get a small French fries still at McDonald's with that money. So still calling it French fry money. But that was how we started off the week, and we actually started the week off with 0 sales, if you want to be really technical about it, and yet it turned into the best week ever. So that, I think, should be at the beginning of a movie that teaches you about perseverance and not giving up and, starting with that $0 sales day. So if we move into the 26th, which was a Tuesday, on eBay, I sold the North Face black 550 down-filled puffer vest. It was like a full zip vest in a women's size medium. That sold on eBay for $27. It was promoted at 3%, and it is something that I got from a friend of mine before he moved with his family to the suburbs of Chicago. And so I didn't have any money into it. My net profit was $21.43, which is amazing. And then also on eBay, I sold this pair of Chico's green high-rise pants in a Chico size 2 tall, which is the equivalent of like a women's size 12. Those sold for $21 and I got them for $1.11. I did get them last May, so I've had them for over a year, but I didn't have them listed for very long. Like I got them a while ago, never got around to listing them until pretty recently. They sold really fast for $21 and my net profit was $17.23. So, you know, even though this is like boring, basic Chicos, they're just like regular pants, I don't know, like people who like the brand and know their size and who just need something like that in particular, they are willing to pay a good amount of money for that kind of stuff. So that was exciting. Also on the 26th on eBay, I sold this vintage new with tags Banana Republic black 100% silk lined maxi skirt in a women's size 8. That I got at a garage sale over the summer. I sold it for $48 and it was promoted at 3%. I did have it priced much higher. I think that the buyer and I went back and forth quite a few times. I had about $5 into it, so my net profit was still a very healthy $35.22. But, you know, I just had kind of hoped for more. But a lot of times you really just don't know with like vintage mall brands like that. So, I mean, I was okay with the amount that I was able to take home with that. And that it took like a few months to sell, which wasn't too bad. Also on eBay, this was a sale that took much longer. I sold this pair of EPTM, no idea what that is, green elastic waist side stripe pull-on track pants for men in a size extra large. That sold for $19.99. It was promoted at 3%. I had picked that up at a 90% clearance sale at Plato's Closet back in the summer. I think I looked up comps at the time and they were supposed to be decent, which is why I got them. I had 80 cents into those. So I made a profit of $15.56, which I think is still pretty good. But yeah, I didn't know the brand, just thought I would try it out. It, you know, did take a little bit of time to sell. I don't remember there being a whole lot of interest in it. So I don't know that I would pick it up in the future, but it doesn't hurt to try a brand when you're paying 80 cents for it. All right, so moving into the 27th, which was a Wednesday. Starting on Wednesday, I believe on Wednesday and Thursday, I ran a 40% off sale on my entire eBay closet. And then on Friday and Saturday and maybe Sunday, I made it 50%. So we were in move inventory mode, especially for older inventory. And with my store being at such a deep discount, I still would like send offers on items that I was extremely desperate to get out. And so you're going to hear about a lot of that stuff. So the first sale on eBay was this Flax Engelhart. Flax is just a great like login look brand, but it was like a denim look jean jacket. I put jean in air quotes because it wasn't really denim. It was actually a linen blend jacket in a women's size medium. I did have $10 into that and I did get it a while ago. I got it last October. So not even October of 2024, like October of 2023. And I had $10 into it. It sold for $29.99. I got it at a pop-up consignment sale that happens in my town twice a year. It did sell at 40% off, which is why it sold for $29.99. So my net profit on that was $14.94. I definitely was hoping for more, but I'll be honest, this didn't really fit the Flax login look aesthetic. It looked kind of just more like a denim jacket, which is not what that brand is really known for. So I can't imagine that there were a lot of people searching for Flax denim jacket. I'm sure that no one thought that existed. And I think that's probably part of the reason why this took a little bit longer to sell. The next thing to sell as part of my 40% off sale was this Gap lived in blue plaid button down long sleeve shirt in a men's size medium. That was my husband's. I had no money into it. It sold for $5.99. It was also promoted at 3%. So my net profit on that was $4.37. But a lot of times I will not list things of my husband's or of my kids that I know just won't get me that much money. That I think I listed a while ago before I had those principles. But also even sometimes my husband will be like, I don't wear this anymore. And it's almost like, I don't even think about it. I'm just like, okay. And I like bring it down, photograph it and list it. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh, that's an American Eagle shirt. Like, why did I list that? It's like, I don't know. I almost just kind of go on autopilot. I don't know if that's what happened here, but we made a little money. He can get another shirt at Goodwill or something with that. So that's pretty cool. Also on eBay, I sold this Anthropologie Tiny. That's the brand. brand, SNAIL, I don't know if I'm saying that right, embroidered shirt dress. It was blue and it had like a floral motif on it in a women's size extra small petite. So this is interesting because I have sold this exact dress before, and I think that's part of the reason I picked it up at a clothes mentor earlier in the year. I got it in January of this year when I was at a music conference with students. They were rehearsing, I was out thrifting, but they were having like a 90% off sale or something, so I only had $3 into that. It sold for $14.99 because it was part of my 40% off sale on eBay. So my net profit was $9.28. Not a dress that I'll probably pick up from here on out. And I think it being an extra small petite made it an even harder sale. But it's kind of cool when you get to the point that you're selling multiples of the same item because you find them, you know, at different times, like years apart even. That's when you know you've been doing this for a really long time. Also on the 27th on eBay, this was so random. So I sold this pair of vintage Swiss Army Victorinox black 100% wool pleated trousers in a men's size 32. So these I got from my mother-in-law. They sold for $20.99. They were part of that sale, but they sold so fast. And I remember like holding them in my hands and being like, do I even list this? Like, is it worth my time? Because I don't know. Like, I didn't think they looked that, they didn't, you know, I don't know. They were not current at all. I didn't get it, but I looked up comps and I was like, oh my gosh, like these are actually kind of selling. Like, I don't understand. And if they sold for $20.99, I mean, that means I had them listed probably at like $35 and the comps warranted that I could list them around that. I mean, those sold within a few days, which is crazy. I had no money into them because like I said, my mother-in-law gave those to me. So my net profit was $18.40. So that just goes to show, like, if you're looking at something and you're like, I just don't get it, and comps are stating otherwise, go ahead and list that thing. You never know. And then also on the 27th on eBay, I sold this pair of New With Tags Express gray drawstring sweatpants. They were like joggers in a women's size medium. I don't generally pick up a lot of Express. I don't have good luck selling it. There is definitely Express clothing that can sell well. And I do have a video that I will link here and down in the description where I share a bunch of women's bread and butter brands that you can actually sell for like $50 or more if you just know what items to pick up from that brand. And I do believe Express was one of the brands that I talked about, but this kind of just like loungewear stuff is not gonna do it. Like that's not what's gonna sell for a lot. These sold for $13.90. That was actually an offer that I sent to a buyer when I saw that someone had, you know, some interest in these. So they accepted. I had $385 into those because they were part of a reseller buyout. So, you know, I don't really normally go out and thrift a lot of Express. I did actually pick up an Express piece today, however, while out thrifting, but because that I think was warranted, it was like a more substantial piece than this pair of joggers. This was part of a reseller buyout. I made a net profit of $7.26. So there you go. And then moving on to the next day, which was the 28th, which was Thanksgiving Day, still running a 40% off sale on eBay. I think I was also sending 35% off offers on Poshmark just because their fee is a little bit higher. And I was using Posher VA to do that. So if you use a Chrome extension like Posher VA, you can go in and do things like have it share your closet for you, send offers to likers, and you can specify like how big you want the offer to be. You can specify if you want there to be a shipping discount or not. And you can specify how long after someone likes an item that they receive your offer. So I have it set up for 5 minutes after just because I know even for myself, like when I am liking things on Poshmark or on Mercari, I'm liking them because I'm pretty close to buying. Like I don't do a lot of just mindless liking. And I know that there are some people out there that do that, but I'm liking honestly in hopes that the buyer is going to send me an offer. And so I want to strike while the iron is hot. That's why I do 5 minutes. I know some people are like, you should wait like 10, 15, 20 because people might bundle and then you can send them an even better offer on their entire bundle. I just feel like that doesn't happen that often. So I would rather just send many offers on many things that people like. And then I can be like, oh, I know I sent you a bunch of individual offers, but I see that you liked 5 items. If you want, I can, you know, send you a price for all of them together plus a shipping discount. I'll go ahead and do that in the bundle feature using comments. I just have Posher VA do all of that work for me, just kind of in the background. So it's not something that I have to think about. And I did make some sales, as you will see, as a result. And if you're interested interested in something like Posher VA, I do have a coupon code down in the description below. It's just BECKYPARK, and it helps you save 20% off of your first like payment on Posher VA. I think I pay quarterly, and that's because if you pay quarterly or annually, you save a good amount of money. But I don't know at this point how I would sell on Poshmark without that Chrome extension. So Posher VA, definitely look it up. But on Poshmark on the 28th, I sold this pair of Robert Graham Slim Jim, that was the style name, black jeans in a men's size 31 by 31. They were lined, and I thought that they were a good pickup, except for the fact that I noticed when I got home that they were hemmed. So that was kind of annoying, but also like there are a lot of men out there who, you know, may need to hem their pants to be a certain length. And it's not like they were hemmed to be super, super short. The inseam was 31, which is like pretty normal. Like you see that pretty often. I got these at a local consignment store over the summer. I got it in August. I had $3 into it because they were having a $3 tag sale. And so my net profit on those jeans was $16.20. So thankfully, despite the fact that they were hemmed, it didn't take very long for them to sell at all. And if you ever run into that situation where you get something home and yeah, something's been hemmed, something's been altered, just go ahead and take really good measurements, show them in your pictures, explain it explicitly in your description. And I even wrote the word hemmed in capital letters in the listing title so that nobody was surprised. And, you know, the sale went through, no one asked for a return or anything. So I think that they saw all of the information and still wanted those jeans. I don't know if that sale was a result of my offers to likers or if they just offered me 24. I think they offered me 24. I had 3 into them. My net profit was $16.20. I did have another eBay sale this day as part of my 40% off sale. And it was this Carhartt relaxed fit red plaid button down shirt or like flannel in a men's size extra large regular. That one I got at a local consignment store in March of this year. I had $3.73 into it. It sold for $11.99 because it was 40% off. So my net profit was only $7.48, but that's okay. We were trying to move out old inventory and I succeeded with that. I also had a whatnot sale on this day. I sold this pair of vintage Disney like denim overalls. They had Mickey and Minnie Mouse embroidered on them, maybe even like more. And they were like the bib overalls. They were in a women's size medium. I actually got these in October of last year in 2023 from a garage sale that a friend of mine does. She goes thrifting a lot and she gets a lot of really great stuff. It's like she can't help it, I feel like. But when she gets more modern stuff, she's not as motivated to list it and resell it. So she typically sells that to me wholesale. And then she does a really good job of like selling her vintage pieces at like flea markets and things like that. But even her vintage pieces she brings to this garage sale. And I'm able to get a lot of that from her too. And this was definitely a vintage piece. So I had about $7 into those. They sold for $25 on Whatnot. I think I had them priced at like $50 everywhere else just because I thought they were really unique and special, but nobody else did apparently. But this person found it on Whatnot and bought it for $25. I made a net profit of $14.65. Back to some more Poshmark sales. Oh my gosh, this sale made my week. So I think that this person didn't even like the item, they just bought it outright. It was by the brand Varley. Varley has like some activewear, kind of more like casual loungewear pieces, like they do sweaters and, you know, things like that. I think it's sold on Revolve. I think it's sold, I don't know, it's sold at a few different places, but it's just pretty expensive and some people do seek it out. It's a pretty popular brand and it's not as like well known as like Lululemon or something obviously, but it's getting up there. This was the Danes half zip black ribbed mixed media pullover in a women's size medium. I got that at a Goodwill when I went to LA over the summer to visit my mother-in-law. I paid $14.99 for it, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw this and I saw that it was the brand Varley, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it. I looked up comps and I was shooketh, mainly because I didn't think it was all that cute. Like, it's just not my style. I don't think I'm a huge fan of like mixed media. Like, I think it was like more of like a nylon-y texture here and then like ribbed, I don't know. Like that weirds me out when you have like something knit and nylon together. That sold for my full asking price of $125. So once you subtract my cost of goods and Poshmark's fees, I made a net profit of $85.01 on that. That was Super exciting. Definitely be on the lookout for this brand. I mean, this wasn't even like the most substantial piece. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it was like a winter jacket or something. It was literally a pullover and it still sold for $125. So that was pretty exciting. On eBay, we're going back to some eBay sales. I sold this pair of Abercrombie & Fitch, the 90s straight ultra high-rise jeans in a women's size 31. I got those at a Plato's Closet in August of this year. It was part of a 70% off sale. So I had $4.80 into those. It did sell as part of my 40% off sale. They were also promoted at 3%. They sold for $26.99. And so my net profit on those was still $17.81. So had they not been a part of my sale, I think I could have made even a little bit more money on them. And you guys know, like Abercrombie & Fitch, I have been trying it out a little bit more, especially their denim. And I think that their 90s line does really well. Abercrombie is another brand that I talk about in that video that I mentioned earlier, where I talk about the different bread and butter brands that you probably find pretty often at your thrift stores. I talk about Abercrombie because there's a lot that you can resell from Abercrombie that you can sell for $50 or more. Also on eBay, I sold this new with tags ASOS pink and white floral sleeveless pleated dress in a women's size 8. This I got last summer at a local consignment store. I had $3.47 into it. It sold for $11.99. And I don't know why it felt like I had this dress forever. I felt like I had this dress for like 20 years, but I guess it's only been a little bit over a year. I was very happy to see it go though, and I made a net profit of $5.61. On the 28th also, going back to Poshmark, I sold this Sundance, that's the brand, magenta silk nylon blend cowl neck chunky knit sweater in a women's size medium. That I got from my friend's garage sale. I got it this August, so didn't have it, for that long. It sold for $25, and that's mainly because I was sending 40% off offers, not 35, I guess. 40% off offers with Poshmark VA, and as a result, it sold for $25. I had 5 into it. My net profit was $15. Didn't take that long to sell. And then moving on to the next day, which was the 29th of November, this was Black Friday. This is when I shifted gears. I think I was still just sticking with the 40% off offers on Poshmark, but on eBay, I believe I moved to 50% because we were trying to compete with Black Friday sales and also just keep moving out inventory. So the first thing that sold on Poshmark, and I don't think that this was because of Poshmark VA. I think someone just sent me an offer. I sold this peppermint polka dot sleeveless dress in a girl size 8. I don't know where this came from, but I'm fairly certain I don't have any money into it. I think someone gave it to us. Sold for $10. My net profit was $7.05. And to be honest, that's probably been listed for like 2 or 3 years. So you better believe I was very happy when that offer came in. Also on the 29th on eBay, I sold this pair of Eileen Fisher white Ponte knit pull-on high-rise pants in a women's size large. These actually sold as a result of offers to likers that I had sent out the night prior. So they got the 40% off price. Well, I guess a little bit more than 40% off because I was sending offers even against that 40% off, maybe like 45% off or something like that. I probably shouldn't have done that because, man, I thought that these were just really great pants. They ended up selling for $27.90. I had $7.50 into them, and I had picked them up pretty recently in September of this year, and I got them at a local consignment store during a 75% off clearance sale. So my net profit on those pants was $18.15, which is still great, but I think, definitely had I waited and not sent out offers on that, I could have done a little bit better, but that's okay. Also on eBay this day, another great kind of more like luxury brand item to sell was the St. John Couture gold gilded knit boat neck sweater in a size petite small. This I actually got on Whatnot. I got it to resell. I did not get it for myself. And I had $31.87 into that sucker. And that includes shipping and stuff like that, obviously. It sold for $74.99 during my 40% off sale. So that was a little like, ugh, but that's okay. It honestly had been listed for a long time. And I did probably have it listed way too high. There just weren't very many comps for something like this. And I still made a net net profit of $34.67. I a little bit more than doubled my initial investment, but was definitely looking and hoping for a little bit more than that, but that's okay. And then back to some Poshmark sales. I sold this pair of Judy Blue Boyfriend Dark Wash high-rise jeans in a women's size 27. That I sold for $29. I don't think that that was a result of my sale. I had $5 into it from that pop-up consignment sale that happens in my town twice a year. I got it in May of this year. So I had $5 into it and my net profit was $18.20. By the way, on the note of Poshmark, so I did send out, 40% offers using Posh VA, but I also used the My Shoppers tool. Is that what it's called? I don't know. It's like that thing where you can message people who have liked items or bundled items in your closet. And the way that Poshmark does this stuff, like I'm glad that they've come out with stuff like this. I still wish that they just had a sale function. Like I wish you could just put your closet on sale and say like everything's 25% off. They don't have anything like that. And so my kind of workaround is to message people who have recently liked items. But the way that Poshmark does it is you have to, whether from your phone or through your computer, you say, I want to message everyone, but you have to like scroll down. And as you scroll, the number of people that you're going to message gets higher and higher. So I was like, I'm just going to message everyone at once and I'll just leave my computer running in the background while I'm doing other things. Well, it like glitched out. Like, I guess you can't send messages to more than a certain number of people. So I started doing like 300 or 500 people at a time. I was like, okay, I'm just going to send messages to 300 people. And I would send them the message saying, hey, happy Thanksgiving. I am running a Black Friday sale, so everything is 40% off, like thanks for your interest in my closet, something like that, right? So I sent it, and then I went back into Poshmark, went through the whole process again, and said select all, and scrolled till I had the next like 300 or 500 or whatever. Lo and behold, someone messaged me on Poshmark, and they were like, girl, you have sent me the same message 3 times. Like, it's ridiculous. And I wanted to crawl into a hole and die. I was like, no, I didn't. That would be wild. I would be so embarrassed if I did that. And so I go into like people's bundles to check what I've messaged them. And sure enough, I messaged some people 3 times that day with the same message. And I told the person, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Like, I did not mean to do that at all. I definitely thought that Poshmark wouldn't let me message the same people over and over again. Like, I thought you'd only be able to message them once and then they would like, as you're scrolling, it would be new people, And they were like, no, I understand. I just wanted to let you know. And I hope people don't unfollow you for it. And I'm sure many people did. Like, literally probably close to 500 people got the same message from me 3 times. If you are one of them, I am so sorry. Like, that is so spammy and I aspire to never be that person. And that's who I was on Black Friday. So I am so sorry, but that was rough times. And I'm glad that that person alerted me to it. And I am therefore not very surprised that I did not actually do very well on Poshmark that weekend. And I think it's because I just pissed off a lot of people. So moving on, the same day, which was the 29th on Friday, going back to some eBay sales. So I sold 3 of the same thing. I don't know if you know, but on eBay, if you are selling the same SKU and you've got multiples of it, you can turn on a setting where you say like, hey, if they buy 2 of the same thing, they can get this percentage off. And if they get 3 of the same thing, they can get this percentage off. Well, that's what this person did. And they bought all 3 of my Amika Velveteen Dream Smoothing Conditioners. It was like 9.2 fluid ounces, Pro Vitamin B5, all that stuff. They got 15% off of that whole bundle because of the fact that they were getting multiples. I think they also got my like 40 or 50% off on that. So basically I sold each one for like $14 and my net profit on each one was like $9.71 or $9.70. One of them came out to. And that's because I picked those up at Reseller Supply Co. I did a whole video about them. They are a wholesale company in Springfield. They're resellers themselves as well, but they buy in bulk. Like when I say they buy in bulk, like they have filled 3 huge warehouses basically with tons of inventory, way more than they know what to do with. And so they actually sell through a lot of that inventory to resellers. So I got 3 of these in one of my boxes, and it was a really easy thing to list because, for one, if you do sell similar on eBay, tons of people are selling this already, so you can get all of the information that you need for a listing by doing sell similar on eBay and then transferring that over to List Perfectly, which is what I use as my cross-listing software. And then I just listed it once and said that I had 3 of them. So that was really nice, and I was able to make a quick, like, you know, close to $27 off of those 3. So that was awesome. And because I did a video about them, they gave me a couple boxes for free, which is why I had nothing into those. But that was really exciting to see that those things just sold through and sold really fast. If you want to check out that video, I have it down below. And if you want to check out Reseller Supply Co. itself, I will have the link for that in the description below as well. They are just wonderful, wonderful people. I do have a follow-up video about them coming up soon too. So if you want to see that, make sure that you hit that subscribe button because you'll be able to see how Kyle and DJ and Grandpa Dave and all those guys are doing. They are the best. Like, I love them. Moving on to the 30th of November, which was a Saturday, I was still going strong with my sales. So on eBay, I sold this Polo Ralph Lauren blue and red striped Pima Soft Touch polo shirt in a men's size medium. That one sold for $12.50. It was part of a 50% off sale that I was running on eBay at that time. I had $3 into it. I don't remember from where. I think it was from a local consignment store. And so my net profit on that was $6.70. And I'll be so honest with you, when that sold, I got really scared because I was like, do I even still have this? Because that just really hasn't gotten a lot of attention anywhere else. And it's probably because I had it priced too high. Like, if it sold for 50% off, that means that I had it listed for $25. That's not too high. I don't know. I don't know why no one else was interested in that, but that's okay. Also on eBay, I sold this pair of new with tags, Levi's 527 Slim Standard Bootcut Dark Wash jeans in a men's 33 by 32. Those I had no money into because they were also part of my Reseller Supply Co. box. And so I sold them for $22.49. They were part of that 50% off sale. And so my net profit was $19.53. And that's one of the things that I really like about the Reseller Supply Co. boxes is there's a lot of brands that people really care about, like Levi's and Wrangler and stuff like that, like stuff that people are actively seeking out, not like random Amazon brands or something like that. I also sold another pair of Levi's. It was the 514 Slim Straight Blue jeans in a men's size 32 by 30. Those I had $3 into from a local consignment store. They sold for $10.50 as part of my 50% off sale. So my net profit on those was only $5.67, which was not amazing, but we were moving things and we're making the monies. So there you go. I also sold on eBay this pair of Mark Fisher M. Loche, that was the style name, black leather slip-on ankle boots in a women's size 6M. Those I had $5.38 into from, I think, a local consignment store. They sold for $17.48. They were promoted at 3% as well. So my net profit on those was $8.06. Not the best. Mark Fisher is definitely a shoe brand that I'm going to be cooling off of because it doesn't move very quickly for me. And it does get a lot of attention. Like, people like the items and send offers, but they're always like super lowball offers, which is probably the price that they're supposed to sell around, but I think I just have too much into them to want to sell them for that little. So I think unless I can get them for like $1 or $2, it's not really worth selling. Let me know if you have any experience with Mark Fisher, and if so, what it is. But yeah, not a brand that I'm like super excited about trying to sell. Also on the 30th on eBay, I sold this pair of UGG Australia Kaylee, I think that's the style name, leather sheepskin lined brown clog mules in a women's size 6. Those I got at Plato's Closet last May, so I've had them for a while. I had $5 into them, and they sold for $17.48 as part of my 50% off sale. They were promoted at 3% as well, so my net profit on those was $6.54, which is not super exciting, but again, we were just trying to move stuff. I look a little bit different because I'm recording this bit a few days later, but I wanted to talk about this bundle sale that I got from a viewer named, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Renai? I think that's it. But she got a bundle. She said it was a birthday present for herself and she was treating herself since I was running a sale. So she got 2 items. The first item, let me find it. Where did it go? Okay. The first item was this vintage new with tags Ann Taylor green velvet mock neck short sleeve top in a women's size large. So I got this in August and I got it at my friend's garage sale. I just thought it was beautiful. Ann Taylor, typically I do not pick up because it doesn't move for me. It's pretty oversaturated in the reselling market. But this reminded me of a very similar sweater that I have. It's like a turtleneck green kind of velvety textured short sleeve sweater. And I love that thing. I wear the crap out of it. So I picked this up because, I don't know, it just made me think of my own piece that I like to wear often. And I just thought it was really beautiful. It was vintage. Many people, especially the people of Depop, agreed. I got so many offers on this thing, especially on Depop again, and a lot of lowball offers. And to be honest, I did have it priced pretty high. I had it priced at like $50, but that's because it was new with tags, it was vintage, it was just like a lot of really cool things. And so I priced it pretty high. Lots of people sent very low offers. I'm really happy that Renai got it because I'm glad it went to a viewer. I hope that it's cherished. And I think that she's the one that this deserves to live with. I do think I had like a few offers come in on Depop over this item. I accepted 1 or 2. People on Depop love to send offers they don't like to pay. And I've heard a lot of you say in the comment section that you really kind of view offers on Depop as likes on Poshmark. Like it's kind of the same thing, which is wild to me. I don't understand why they wouldn't just, like the item, like why they go so far as to send an offer if they're not actually going to buy the item. That just makes no sense to me. And I wish that both Depop and eBay would get on the Poshmark train and make it so that if an offer is sent, it's already tied to the credit card. And as soon as the buyer hits accept, that person's card is charged and the transaction is complete. Like I wish that that's how it would work. I don't know why they're not there yet. And I don't know why they don't want to move it in that direction. But regardless, this went to Renai. I was so happy about that. She got it for $20, which I think was, I don't know how that worked out, but she got it for $20. I had 5 into it from that garage sale. So my net profit on that was $11.50. And then also on Poshmark as part of that bundle, she got this new in the box Peter Thomas Roth multi-masker 4-piece mask kit. It had 4 different masks. One of them was like cucumber. One of them was like a pumpkin one. There was like a gold one. I don't remember the other one. But what a way to treat yourself with 4 different kinds of facial masks. So thank you so much, Renai. I hope you loved your items and I appreciate you so much. That pumpkin mask, by the way, not pumpkin, but that whatever mask set, it sold for $15. I had no money into it because that was part of the reseller Supply Co. box that I got from them. And so my net profit there was $11.50 as well. Also on Poshmark, I sold this pair of silver Suki surplus mid-rise bootcut jeans in a size 27 by 30. They did have like that flap that goes over the back pockets. And I picked those up at a local thrift store for $3.99, but I got them in July of 2022. So I've had these for a while. And I do feel like when I first started reselling, silver jeans were super popular and now it's really hard to move them, especially if they're like the skinny jeans. These got relisted using Posher VA. That's another one of my very favorite functions with Posher VA is their relisting feature. You can just say, hey, when something is 60 days old, go ahead and relist it. They do give you a max of like, you can only relist, maybe it's like 40 things a day or something like that. I don't know. But again, the fact that I don't have to sit there and do it manually is a lifesaver. So I relisted those using Posher VA and they sold for $27. Now, I do remember someone sending me that offer and me reaching out to them being like, hey, just so you know, I am running a 40% off sale right now. If you bundle 2 or more items together, if you wanted to poke around and see if there's anything else that you might want, I can, cancel this offer. You can get 2 things for maybe the price of 1. They never responded. So I, the next day, just went ahead and accepted their offer because I also didn't want to lose out on the sale. They were probably pretty new to Poshmark. So I made $17.61. And the crazy thing is I sold another pair of silver jeans from this same haul back in July of 2022. I sold another pair the next day and not to the same person. Also on the 30th on Poshmark, I sold this pair of Ted Baker London Zandella 9 black velvet bow studded heels in a women's size European 37.5. Oh man, I thought these were really cool and they sold for $48. I think that was an offer someone sent me. It was not part of like my 40% off sale. I had $347 into that from a local consignment store. I did get it last summer, so I've had it for a while, but I finally made a net profit of $34.93 on that. So that was very exciting. And then moving into December, and you guys, I know I'm still behind. My goal over break is to get caught up. We'll see if that actually happens with family being here and all that good stuff, but we're gonna try. We're gonna do our very best. But on December 1st, which was a Sunday and the last day of sales that we'll talk about, on Poshmark, I sold this Vintage Outfitters red down-filled full zip vest in a men's size medium. It did have like a hood that you could zip into the collar. That my mother-in-law gave me. It sold for $40, not part of my sale or anything, just someone sending offers. And I had no money into it, so my net profit was $32. On Poshmark, I also sold that second pair of silver jeans that I told you about earlier. This was the Suki 17-inch surplus blue boot cut jeans in a women's size 27. They had the same like little flap over the back pockets. Those sold for $25. And I kind of want to say that the same thing happened. Like someone sent me an offer. It was not the same person. And I tried to give them a deal, but they never responded. So $25 it was. Or maybe those sold outright. Like I had those priced at $25. I think that's what happened here. I think that pair someone just bought outright at my full asking price. It is wild, guys. I don't know. Like when you're on a streak, like it's so crazy how sales come in. But $3.99 into those as well. My net profit was $16.01. On eBay on the 1st, I sold this pair of new with tags, Levi's 501 original straight green jeans. So they were jeans, but they were green in a men's size 32 by 32. I got those from Reseller Supply Co. They ended up selling for $19.99 because of my 50% off sale. So because I didn't have any money into those, my net profit was $17.41, and those sold pretty fast. On eBay, I also sold this pair of Cole Haan Generation 0 Grand leather water resistant ankle boots in a women's size 7.5B. I got those in 2023, April of 2023 from a local consignment store. They sold for $17.49 and I sold them as part of my 50% off sale. I do think I waited though until like the fall or winter of 2023 to list those. I remember that April, I stocked up on a ton of like winter boots and shoes and things like that, that particular consignment store was just trying to move out because they were getting ready for like spring and summer items. So I just remember buying a ton of winter stuff for super cheap and kind of saving it in a box until maybe around like July, August, September when people start thinking about colder weather stuff. So even still, I had to sit on it for like a year or so. But I do remember that that's how that went down. On eBay, I also sold this pair of the North Face Chill Cat Lace 2 brown waterproof winter boots in a youth boy size 6. Those I got from my friend at her garage sale in October of 2023. They sold for $16. I did have that 50% off sale running on eBay. I had $5 into them, so my net profit was $10.26. And in the past few What Sold videos, I have been talking about how boots and denim, like those kinds of things are selling really well for me, and that is still the case. Like that's what's moving right now. Also on the 1st on eBay, I sold this great sweater. I loved the sweater. It was by the brand Southern Tide, and it was this blue fisherman cable knit sweater in a men's size extra large, 100% cotton. I got it in January of this year when I was at that music festival with my students. I got it at a Goodwill in the town where that festival was. I had $5.44 into it. It only sold for $16 because of the 50% off sale, and so my net profit was only $7.54. But man, I just thought it was such a cool kind of nautical-y sweater. Definitely think it could have sold for more had it not been for the sale, but that's okay. Also on eBay that day, I sold this new Hempz, you know, like HEMPZ. It is like a skincare line, but it was this body moisturizer in the scent apple cider and nutmeg. I could not. Like I actually got 2 of these and they're like a limited edition for the holidays, and I forget the other scent, but I tried it and I was like, can't do it. Like I can't do really savory scents like this. So this one was still brand new. Like I dislike the other one so much, even with kind of liking those flavors and scents a little bit. I've never been into like apple scented things. So I was like, this is not going to do it for me. So I listed it. It sold for $9 on eBay because of my 50% off sale. I didn't have any money into it. It was something that I had gotten as a gift. So my net profit was $6.66. Also on eBay on Poshmark, I sold a bundle. Oh no, I don't have the person's name. I'm gonna look it up and put it right here. But this was one of the few people who were like, oh, I will take advantage of your sale and I will make a bundle and, get my 40% off. And I was so thankful. I do think it's a viewer, so I'm gonna put that person's name right here. Thank you for not being annoyed with my spamming. I am so sorry about it again. And thank you for your support. So the first thing that she got was this Sanctuary Laura green camo army full zip jacket with pockets. It was in a size large and she got that for $16.50. I did have $3 into it from a local consignment store. And so my net profit on that was $9.70. She also got another Sanctuary jacket from me. It was this camo print button-up utility jacket in a women's size large. And that one she paid $21.50 for. My net profit on that was somehow $14.23. I'm saying I had no money into that. That doesn't make sense. But I got that at a local consignment store last May. So I believe those were the two things that she got. So thank you so much. And then I had one more 2-piece bundle on Poshmark to close out our What Sold video. I don't think that this was a viewer, just someone who got the same message from me 3 times and was like, okay, I will visit your closet and make a sale. Leave me alone. But it was this brown crochet lace open vest. It was in a Chico size 2. I use words like boho and stuff like that. There was kind of like a rip in the lace, in the crochet lace on the back, which I made sure to take photos of and disclose in the description. I had $4.25 into that from a local consignment store. I picked it up in September of this year, not knowing that the rip was there. I didn't see it till I started photographing the item and I was like, well, gosh darn it. I definitely paid way too much for this. She ended up buying that for $9 and I made a net profit of $2.45 on that. And then the last sale, also part of this bundle. And if this is a viewer, I'll put the name here. Thank you so much. The last person got this Michael by Michael Kors white crochet cowl neck high-low sweater in a women's size medium. That sold for $14 and I had $3.48 into it from a coworker of mine. We do a consignment deal. So she made $3.48 and I made $8.22 on that. Let's go through my numbers. So on eBay, I sold 27 items for a gross sales amount of $744.41. My cost of goods was $106.45. So my net profit on eBay was $357.53. On Poshmark, I sold 15 items for a gross sales amount of $449. My cost of goods was $55.17. So in total on Poshmark, I made $299.61. I sold 2 items on Whatnot for $35. My cost of goods was $12.99 and my net profit on Whatnot was $16.99. So in total, I sold 44 items for a gross sales amount of $1,228.41. That does also include the amount that people on eBay paid me for shipping, and then I pay for shipping. It's weird, but that's a little inflated. And then my cost of goods for all of those items was $174.61. So my net profit was $674.13. That is so much more than I have typically made in a week in the year 2024. So thankful for that number. I don't think I was able to surpass it since then, but that was a great place to be. I'm hoping that you guys are having a wonderful end of the year. Oh my gosh, I just made a sale. Sorry, that like scared me. That was listed perfectly. I'm gonna see what just sold. But I hope you guys had wonderful sales to end the year and just a great time with family and friends and just, kind of closing out the year. Hopefully you've hit your goals and you've got some big goals for the next year. I don't know. This made me really happy and it made me excited to, plunge forward and keep on keeping on. So thank you so much for spending your time with me. If you made it this far, you are amazing. Let me know you made it this far by commenting down below. Maybe just say like, we did it. We did it, and I'll know that you are one of those that stayed till the end. If you want to keep on watching some What Sold videos, I will link a playlist right here. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.